Welcome to the United Palace of Spiritual Arts. This is Spiritual Artistry in Action, a weekly celebration of the intersection of arts, spirituality, culture, and entertainment. I'm Reverend Todd Humphrey. With Spiritual Artistry in Action, we hope to reawaken your creativity. It is through our creative expression that we have a personal experience of the divine. And creative expression can take many forms. As you consider what creative expression might be calling out to you, today we want to highlight a true Renaissance human. In today's Spiritual Artistry in Action service, we are sharing a memorable conversation that our spiritual director, Reverend Heather Shea, had with her longtime friend, Bruce Cryer. We've also included a beautiful song that Bruce wrote for his album, Renaissance Human. Here's Reverend Heather and Bruce in a conversation that explores the intersection of creativity, spirituality, and service. I hope you enjoy.
I did start hearing this Renaissance man thing, and it was usually from people who only knew me from the business world or teaching at Stanford. I wrote for the Harvard Business Review. You know, they saw me as that guy, and then they found that I had been a singer and I'd done 800 performances. Fantastic. So like, what? That doesn't make sense. Or people who only knew me on the artsy, roomy quotes on my Facebook page side and then found that I did Stanford, blah, blah, blah. So people were like, wow, you do all these things. You're like a Renaissance man. And I thought, actually, for the first time in my life, I am. Meaning I'd done all these things, but it was always fragmented. It was always only on stage, only in business. It was never integrated. And this was the first time in my life, having freed myself of some of the restraints, that I was trying to integrate it all. To dance and to sing and to do photography and to consult and to mentor and to do it all. I love business too. And so I started to play with this idea and I thought, well, Renaissance man, that's old-fashioned. That's really non-gender sensitive. And I thought a Renaissance human sounds much more interesting, much more future-oriented, not just let's go back to Florence in the 1600s, which sounds nice too. So I've been writing about that and blogging about that, and I was invited to do an album of original songs about a year and a half ago, and I thought as soon as this invitation came to me, I was thinking, Renaissance human, this is what this album is about. It's about me stepping yet another leap into my creativity. I'd never written a song in my life and never wanted to, and I was being told by these rock star musician producers, there's music in you and we'll help you get it out. I said, I never even wanted to write a song. They said, we don't care. We know it's in you. They were right.
In my darkest place, I grew fearful of the light. It made my heart so small, just like a face with no delight. When we grow up scared, living like a refugee, and I have lived that way. I won't ever go back to sea. In my life, I know I'm the way that I'm designed to be, and I will let you know the truth I see when I am me. Now I live in light. I look up to the sky to keep me bright, and I know the way. And I'm living here all day and night. Yeah, I'm me, oh. Oh, yeah, I'm free, oh. Oh, love is free, oh. Oh, yeah, I'm me, oh. Na, 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 na. In my life, I know love can bring us hurt and pain, and now we have to be the truth that's deep inside with no shame. Now let's live in light. Let's breathe in the love to keep us right, and we know the way. And I'm living here all day and night. Yeah, me, oh. Oh, yeah, I'm free, oh. Oh, love is free, oh.
having been on a spiritual path for a long time, as have you, it's hard for me to separate the spiritual life, the spiritual world, my spiritual perspective on life from what I do in life. And so whether it's making music or dancing or photography or business consulting or whatever, it all feels like it has to be with a spiritual intention. It has to be in service to the world and to my soul and to my spirit. And so to me, I've been on this journey for decades of trying to get ever more aligned to really hearing the voice of my spirit so I can follow it and not require multiple alarm bell, multiple wake-up calls to finally get the message. And so there's something about trying to infuse every song, every photograph, every poem, every blog post, whatever, with heart and with compassion and with spiritual values that I believe in, and I think everybody here probably shares to some degree.
Sing with me, come on. Yeah, I'm free. Love is free. Yeah, I'm me. Na 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 na.
One more time.
Yeah, me. Yeah, I'm free. Love is free. Yeah, me. Na 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 na
I really mean it.
Yeah, me. Yeah, I'm free. Love is free. Yeah, me. Na 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 na.
Thanks for joining this Spiritual Artistry in Action service. Today, we were reminded by our friend Bruce Cryer's spiritual journey that led him away from the Broadway stage and ultimately back again. Bruce felt the internal call of spirit and heard through the insistence of friends and music industry executives that he had to leap into his creativity. He was called to be in service to the world by and through his creativity. The same is true for us. We are all called to be in service to this world by and through our creativity. This is because we are all spiritual artists. In this live recording of his song, Yes, I'm Mio, Bruce was joined by a few of our favorite musicians. Andreas Arnold on guitar, Adam Maloof on percussion, and vocalist Hannah Sumner. Now, in whatever way is comfortable for you, I invite you to join me in prayer. Eternal presence of life, we raise our voices now to sing praises of gratitude. We seek in this moment your guidance. Allow us that we may recognize and know your desires for us. Guide us into our creative pursuits that we may be a beacon of light and of love. Allow us to serve in this amazing world through our creative pursuits. May all that we do be a blessing to the world, just as your eternal presence blesses us. And together we say Amen, Ashe, Aho, and so it is. I'm Reverend Todd Humphrey. This was a Spiritual Artistry in Action service, a weekly 10-minute or less service of the United Palace of Spiritual Arts. Please support this ministry by visiting us at upspiritualarts.org and clicking on the red donate button, and by sharing this and our other services on your social media accounts. We look forward to seeing you next week. Until then, be well, my friends.